Sean here, and I want to briefly say that the reason I have that image up is I want to remind people that this guy, the one in that picture, thinks he's going to get with Casey a 10 who stars in movies, or is at least in movies. Let's just let that sit there for a second. We're going to be talking today about the I couldn't say no issue that Lorne always brings up. Initially, and I think I'm still 70-30 on this, it was my belief that the I couldn't say no came from the, well, let my siblings use me. Lorne, you gotta learn to say no to people, buddy. And that's all he needed to hear, and we've discussed this, and now it's because that's why he went to the sting, because he couldn't say no. He just skipped from the I couldn't say no to my siblings to all the way to this sting. Don't worry about anything else in between. I can just now say that I went there because I couldn't say no to my siblings. But after thinking about it for a while, I think there are a couple more options the way his brain works. Since he doesn't have one, he doesn't understand what a moral compass or a conscience is. He doesn't understand the word conscience. He doesn't get it. He'll never get it. He has no internal dialogue, or at least intelligible internal dialogue, because even his devil's advocate is an 87, as we've said before. I think what the psychologist may have been telling him is that when you were headed there, Lorne, you should have been able to tell yourself you shouldn't go there. You should have been able to tell yourself no. That sounds like something a psychotherapist would say. You have to learn the difference between right and wrong. You have to learn when to say no, that's not a good idea. That is what I think he took away from it, if it's not what we discussed before. Because we've seen that Lorne only responds when you talk to him like a child. I'm certain the psychotherapist did, and he probably ate it up. Oh, I know, look at me. Lorne, when you were asking yourself questions, remember what we talked about binary thinking? It's either alive or dead, right or wrong. There's no gray area. Maybe she recognized that, or he recognized that, and said, Lorne, when you ask yourself, is this a good idea? You should be able to say no. Because if you can't say no, that means you haven't learned anything. That means you're going to keep making the same mistakes over and over. You have to learn how to say no. Lorne likes to make it out as if peer pressure was the problem. And I'm sure he's done some things in the past to please people, but Lorne also seems like the kid who says, no, I'm not going to do it. No, I'm not going to do it. No, I'm not going to do it. And then finally, when people start ignoring him, and they don't, okay, fine, you're not going to do it, Lorne, we're going to move on. No, da-da-da-da, and he pulls out the cane and the top hat, and he starts dancing. Look at me, somebody please look at me. You have to go to extremes with him. We know this. He makes it out like those people, those are the ones that are daring him, they're telling him, you need to come here, but we know Lorne has never done anything that anyone else wanted him to do. He only does it when he thinks it's his idea, when he wants to do it. If you don't tell me, don't do it. If you tell me don't do it, I won't do it. Which we know is a lie. They've been telling him since day one, leave us alone, Lorne. Stop abusing us. And he keeps going. But that's not the point I'm making. This is why the whole I couldn't say no. I wonder if there was some kind of internal dialogue where the good part of him told the bad part of him, which is like 80% of him, hey, don't go there. And the regular Lorne, the pedophile Lorne, said, no, I will go there. Maybe that's what the psychotherapist told him. This is a battle going on in your head, Lorne, and you keep losing. It's like two brain cells, and one of them is out looking for the other one. And if they ever collide, I think he would have a stroke and die. He is one of the dumbest people I think I've ever had the misfortune, well, fortune, I mean, look at what I'm doing, I'm making videos, of learning about. I just wonder sometimes, what was it? How did he pick up the I couldn't say no? I still think it's I couldn't say no to giving money, to being used by my siblings, which he definitely wasn't, unreliable narrator. But it could also be the discussion about being able to tell himself no, that's not a good idea. Well, we all know that if you told Lorne something that would imply he needed to correct himself, he's going to modify it as necessary. He's going to make it so he's the victim. He's going to make it so that he is in the right. And that it's his decision to not do the wrong things. But other people are just pulling him in that direction. And he's such a nice guy that he doesn't want to hurt anybody's feelings. He just doesn't say no. He goes along with it. I do want to get off topic for a second, and I'd love to walk up to Lorne and say, so if the reason you didn't leave these catfish women is because you didn't want to hurt their feelings, why did you spend 9 months saying some of the worst things you could ever say to another human being? Screaming, yelling, abusing. Isn't that hurting them, Lorne? Well, no, they made me act that way. So we're talking about a guy. That's the way he thinks. So inside his head, you've got that way of thinking, trying to steer him in the right direction, trying to aim that moral compass. But a brain like that just can't work that way. The other theory I have is that it was a scolding. It was said in a manner to Lorne, and he kind of gets that, oh, I know, already know, I know that. You're not telling me anything I don't already know. He kind of cowers down when they're being aggressive or forceful with him. And she or he might have been saying to him, Lorne, you have got to learn how to tell yourself no. I shouldn't do that. If you want to quit smoking, tell yourself no, don't pick up that cigarette. If you want to stop acting the way you've been acting, you say, no, I'm not going to act that way. We have heard the way he thinks, and she said, do you get the point? Or he said, do you get the point? Yeah, when other people ask me to do things, I just tell them no, and I'll be okay. The next time you come to a decision, concentrate on me, please. Concentrate on how you're handling it. Really pay attention to what your brain is mulling over, or what one side is arguing with the other side about. Maybe not arguing, trying to collaborate. Focus on it. And then ask yourself, is my brain functioning the way I want it to be? Some people make those snap decisions, they make those snap judgments. They don't really do a lot of thinking because the brain wants to just go, that's what I see, that's what I believe, that's the way I feel. So we have to train it not to do that. And I think that the psychotherapist was trying to help Lorne train his brain to do the right thing. Lorne, when you feel like you want to take that money that's not yours, you have to be able to say no. And he'll put somebody on the other side of that. Well, but he gave me that money. And my siblings, so, I needed that money. And I wouldn't have taken it because it was somebody else. Instead of saying, oh, you're right. I am unethical. I have no morals. I have no value. Because I can't do the right thing. I have no integrity and no discipline. He cannot do that. So I think maybe the I couldn't say no was a psychotherapist trying to hit a home run in that little cornville 56K modem brain and make him understand that he has to be able to say no to himself. To say no, that's not right. But all he heard was, I need to be able to tell everybody else no. Tell that decoy no. When I was asking her if she was anxious to touch my penis and she said K, I should have stopped her. She was luring me in. I've got a couple longer videos I'm going to make. But I wanted to talk about that I couldn't say no theory. And the other side of it, which was him learning something which he will never learn. And you can see that in his head, he didn't get the point of saying no, it's going to make me diddle children. So if somebody asks him, can I borrow $100 and then they don't pay it back, Lorne's going to feel slighted, and using his logic, he's going to go to another city and he's going to start victimizing real children. Maine, parole, and probation. For the love of God, will you please put this guy in some kind of severe treatment, put him in prison, make him go to class every day. Don't let him have a way out. Put him in a rehab type facility. Make him learn, because you failed. So I couldn't say no that they tried to hammer home with him. He just made it fit whatever he wanted to. And that's why he's the same idiot douchebag that he's been his entire life. I love you guys. I will see you in the next one.